brother Ricky B.
And
we light it up like sauce and sauce and sauce. We light it up like sauce and sauce and sauce. Fli-City got some dogs in it, dogs in it, dogs. Fli-City come off authentic, authentic. We light it up like sauce and sauce and sauce. We light it up like sauce and sauce and sauce.
My city experiencing a transition from penny pinching, maximizing our dollars, multiply triple digits. I came a long way from baby jars in a project kitchen.
On the net again.
okay, there we go.
Peace, family. How you doing? All right. How you doing? It's been a long day. I was just sharing with Miss Dr. Tiffany Quinn. I was just sharing with her a long day of activity as we gear up for the traditional Flint Juneteenth. This is our 52nd year, and I want to introduce a phenomenal woman here in our community. Right, that's a part of our committee. Is doing great things, just in all facets of public health, working with the young ladies, you name it. You know, community initiatives, impact, all that. Right. Let's make some noise for Dr. Quinn.
Well, good evening, everybody.
For the crowd in the back.
You know what though? Sometimes you know you gotta clap for yourself. Sometimes there ain't nobody there to clap for you.
Yeah, that's right. I think that is a true saying. Like a lot of times you are your only fan, right? Your number one fan. However you want to put it. You definitely want to be able to support yourself. So that way other people support it, right? If you're much deep.
I agree.
So you have to be right. So we diving in. We in the thick of Juneteenth. Well, we're not even in the thick of it. We in the first week of Juneteenth.
Yes.
First week of June. We have kicked off the Juneteenth starting in St. John's. We did that on the first last Saturday. Then also we had the fishing trip too as well. So it was just a phenomenal weekend starting off with Juneteenth. And we have another 2 weeks left to go. So
yeah, I agree. So kicking it off at St. John, I was just elated. All of a sudden, it just took me back when I turned around and I saw 475.
I know, right?
Coming right straight through the neighborhood.
Terrible.
Straight through the neighborhood.
Terrible. And that, if y'all don't know what she's referring to, she really talking about the Interstate Act. You know, where they drove highways through predominantly Black communities that was thriving, had their own structures in place, folks owned their own home. It was just a phenomenal place to be at. I hear about all the good stories of St. John's, like from Mr. Warlow, and also Miss Blucher and Ms. Waits. Yeah. You know, all the St. John's community, they talk about St. John, but it was just like, it sounded like it was like the place to be.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
You grew up over there too?
So when we first arrived in Flint, Michigan, it was in I want to say 67.
Okay.
And we moved right down in the St. John area.
Come on now.
And the first school I went to was the Jefferson School Units.
Yeah.
That was back then when we were walking to school.
Are those units like kind of like resemble like little houses? I remember I went to pre-K kindergarten in the little houses.
Yeah.
The little unit.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
So yeah.
So I got a little understanding of the St. John.
And what I remember most is how they manicured their yards. Their yards were spectacular. The neighborhoods were clean.
Yes.
They painted their homes.
Yes.
And people knew each other.
Come on now.
It was one big family.
You know, and I miss that.
I do too.
Right?
So do I.
It seems like, nowadays they just don't have that sense of, not saying they don't have it, but to the extent of how, you explained it, it's just not that type of neighborhood feel no more. It's somewhat a little bit, but not like how everybody depended on each other. Everybody cut their own lawns.
I kind of felt it Saturday though. I did. They brought it back. They were out there grilling and dancing, and the kids were running. It felt good. It took you back for a minute.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And we were all sitting down and sharing and talking.
Yeah.
That's the family identity that I think kids are missing, is that storytelling opportunity. Mm-hmm. When you're sitting down and your auntie say, "Oh yeah, you look like your grandmother," or "You look like your uncle,"
That's right.
Helping you to identify like with your family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, and to tell you those stories, and then I really miss sitting down with like the elders and talking about just things that we need to know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the value. That was the value of what neighborhoods and communities that was like St. John's, and then just people just coming together, right? You looked after one another. All the children were able to go into everybody's home on the block. That was a real thing.
It was a real thing.
I could eat down the street at my friend's house with no worries.
Right.
And so I think you're right. That was like a refresher.
It was. Yeah.
It was definitely a vibe, and they know how to hang out. They've been doing it for a long time. Next time we got to bring out the card tables, bring out like the cornhole.
Oh yeah.
Those type of activities.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So
that's definitely we would definitely look for that. In the coming. So now you for those who we all know what you represent, what you do. For those who are just having an opportunity to meet you, why don't you give them a background about who you are?
Okay. So on a professional level, I'm Tiffany Quinn. I'm a social worker, a mental health professional, and an advocate, definitely for this community.
Come on.
There's a lot of racial systemic things that have happened to people.
Yes.
That have created or added to the mental health pandemic that we're going through.
Yes.
So I am a mental health professional.
Come on.
Working in the schools, predominantly with children. And this is actually my third career. So I started out working in banking and financing.
Really?
I did. I was an accountant. I worked at Old Kent Bank.
Yes.
And then my second career was sales. So I'm an entrepreneur by heart. I had a business downtown Flint. It was a gift basket business. And it was really booming because the Hyatt Hotel had just opened up.
Come on.
So strategically, I opened up right during the time that the Hyatt Hotel opened. And I was doing gift baskets for the hotel and also for Genesee Bank back then.
Really?
Yeah.
So, that actually is an interesting piece of history, right? So I didn't know that you were in financing. That is, that's a whole thing, job in itself.
Absolutely.
Right? So the transition from finance, being an accountant, right, to entrepreneurship, owning your own business, or to sales.
Yes.
Right? And then owning your own business.
Yes.
Right. And now into the mental health, public health field.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what even pushed me to go a little bit deeper and earning a doctorate degree, I was looking at the mental health conditions related to like church memberships and like how can we bridge gaps between faith and mental health. And so I surveyed pastors. And really what I came out with is there were a lot of people that needed to be healed.
All the time. That's a continuous thing.
Yeah, healing is spiritual and it's a continual thing. And some people don't realize sometimes you just have to stop and do that work daily. But when you get caught up in just the everyday life, and I see the working class, the working this, the working that.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't have a choice but to work when you got kids.
You don't have no choice.
You have no choice.
But that plays a part into, when you have children.
Yes.
And you're a parent, but you have to work 40 plus hours a week. Sometimes you more,
Mhm.
double that.
Yeah.
Certain thing. It takes away from really being, I guess, day to day and spending that quality time. Self-evaluation, so you can do self-development.
Yes.
A lot of times we get caught up in all the things that we got to do, and I'm glad you said that because sometimes you just be running, just be kind of just going with the motions, right? That means getting to it in any form or fashion, but never neglect yourself and your own mental health.
I agree.
So you can be a better father, a better mother, a better brother, sister, friend, son, daughter. And I think those are the things that can't take for granted.
Yeah. Yeah.
We do, I've been doing some mental checks, and I've been, trying to get back into my meditation. Right now, I have not been able to kind of do it the way that I feel like I need to, but I'm working on it.
You probably will after maybe July 1st.
Yes, ma'am. I intend to.
Because you got to get through this week, the
That is right.
Juneteenth, and
Yes, ma'am.
I met a wonderful woman that I want to just draw a little bit of attention to, because she just wasn't an attention seeker.
Not.
But I'm getting ready to do this.
Yes.
So Dr. E. Hill Deloney, I met her in I'm going to say 1988.
Mm-hmm.
And she came, she was shopping at this store, and she saw me. I was a single mom, and I was working.
Yep.
And she saw something in me.
That's right.
She was the first Black social worker that I met.
She was the first Black social worker.
She encouraged me. She told me I needed to go back to school.
It sounds just like mother.
Yeah. And she told me the story about like her dad, didn't know that she was going to be able to go to school to get an education. He didn't want to get her hopes up. So he basically was like, this might not be for you, but later on down the road, that became part of her mission, and her ministry was to push women to do better, to get an education, to raise your children, teaching them how to be, moms, good moms. Mm-hmm. And so then we met again at the Flint House. Yeah. And I was teaching a class called Nurturing Parenting. So I was working with moms, helping them to nurture their children.
Yes.
So I don't think it's some type of just so happened to come across each other's paths. Mm-hmm. I believe it was a divine appointment that her and I met this way. Yep. And as I began to do this work on myself, like the healing part, learning more about prayer and meditation, I wanted to transfer these skills and help moms and women and children. And in turns, even when I'm helping moms and women and children, I'm helping families. Right. So when I began to help families create this change of being mindful of their mental health, I mean, it just opened all kind of doors. Yeah. Open all kind of doors. So holistically, I was able to bring that into schools. Yeah. We were able to do mindfulness practice, nurture and help children and families move forward. Mm-hmm. So this healing circle is something that Mother Deloney had already been instrumental in. This was a part of her vision, seeing the community come together and really hold a safe space for them to come and reflect and share and meditate. Mm-hmm. And so last year, it seemed like it grew.
It did.
It grew.
Mother was so happy. Mother was she was just happy. She was elated. She was engaged. And she was very proud of the efforts, even, lift this inner circle.
Mm-hmm.
It doubled, right?
He did.
And like even the processes, even going through the agenda for that day, that evening, it just puts you centered with yourself and centered with family, and it kind of created this holistic wholeness for the participants involved. And that's what I appreciated that too. I appreciated just being there in the circle. I appreciate going through the motions. I had a chance to really kind of just take it easy, right?
Yeah, and people, that's what they were doing. People really didn't want to leave. They began to like soak it up. And how I saw it, I was sharing Serenity House is one of our sponsors. So we went out and we looked at the tree stump that's at MLK Peace Park.
Yeah.
So I think in metaphors sometimes, and I think of that stump, and it just reminds me of the city. Even though the head of that tree has been chopped off, that tree is still strong.
Oh, yes. The
roots are deep.
Yes.
And it still has a purpose, and it stands out in the middle of that park.
That was actually a beautiful way to put it. That was a great analogy. What the city, because the city has strong roots.
Yeah.
Right. Even though it feel like we may be chopped down. Right. We still Flint strong.
Yeah. I said if this stump could talk, boy, it would tell some stories. It would tell some stories. I said, well, Mother, how I see people sitting at your feet and you teaching the affirmation and you sharing stories.
Yes.
And I said, man, I wonder could we like get you to sit up on this tree stump? Mother said, girl, we're gonna sit right here on this right here. Mother, my takeaway from Mother is the way up is down. Humility is how you serve people. She not gonna let you put her up nowhere.
She not.
No, because her humility is what she served with.
Yes.
And so that's what I took away from her humility.
Yeah.
And so when I tell people, but sometimes people get caught up in positions and titles and all these different things. Sometimes you need that just to open the door so that you can come and sit at the table. Because all tables won't welcome you.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm super excited about the healing circle. This circle is going to be for everyone. Anybody can come.
Yeah.
It's open.
Yes, right. So if you don't know, what day is the healing circle?
It is on Monday, June 10th. It starts at 5:00.
Yep.
And you want to get there early because they're going to give away free tacos until they're gone. So you want to get there early. Bring your chair, bring your mat. We're going to have some chairs and mats, but bring your own if you want to get comfortable. Bring your own. Yeah, get your tacos and come on and have a seat.
Listen, it don't get no deeper than that, right? Don't have a seat with family. And I love the expression that you gave about Mother Delany. This woman, established this in the Black social workers 52 years ago.
Yes.
To be able to celebrate and be a part of it, and continue to keep, the legacy going. That speaks volumes about what she meant to this community, not only to Flint, but to this world.
Yeah. Mother
was a one of a kind. She was a very sweet lady that never really wanted no shine. She didn't want the accolades. She would care less about the awards. And I think that's why we champion her and we appreciate her much more. Because she didn't care about none of that stuff.
It was the work.
She cared about the work. She cared about people getting it together. She cared about you loving yourself. Right? She cared about you loving the people in the community that you're in.
Yeah.
She always made sure when you talk about those tables, whenever she came to the table, they knew her agenda. That's how people know. Like, she ain't never changed. She never, sold out. She always stayed diligent in moving this agenda forward, right? In all facets, from public health to community building to cultural awareness. She has left a lasting imprint
Oh, absolutely.
on many people
Hmm.
in this world.
I tell you what, she made me go back and start revisiting my history.
Which is tough sometimes.
It is. It's
It's-
very tough.
There might be people come up from different situations, trauma, right?
Mhm.
That has never been addressed,
That's correct.
right? And she made me do that too.
Okay.
So you know when you can do that,
You know.
and I think that's the thing. Like that's
Mhm.
a part of that the self evaluation, and then also understand that what are you contributing to this whole ordeal, right? What are you? How are you playing a part? What is your role? Everybody has a role. We have to learn to be about our role. We have to be not just about positions and titles, but we have to be about impact.
Well, I'm glad you said that because one of the questions that's going to be asked
Isn't it?
of the participants of the healing circle is what do you want to see change in your community?
Yes.
And then the next question is, as an individual, what are you going to do to help make that change?
That's right. We just can't call stuff out.
Right.
We can't just be dissatisfied.
That's correct.
It's like we gotta put some skin in the game.
So one of the things that I did
Yeah.
to make myself better,
Yes.
because I was on the lowest, I was in poverty. So out of poverty comes a whole lot of other things too. So working my way out of poverty by going back, getting education, and then moving into better conditions, becoming educated, and then turn around and mentor and pour back and give back to the community. So that was one of the things that I do, and that's what I do now.
That's right.
And I hold spaces for people that sometimes they can't hold their own space
That's right.
for whatever reason.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And so, yep. And sometimes you might have to. Mother said the only time you should be looking down on your brother and sister is if you're putting your hand down to help them get up.
Come on now.
So sometimes you might have to go in your cabinet and pull some of that food out and give it out to help that, help people or whatever. So this healing circle is going to be a time to reflect. It's going to be a time to share. It's going to be a time to think about how can you be a solution instead of a problem to the community.
Come on now. And this community needs every bit of that. We have to start looking at it like not waiting on, people waiting on something to happen for us to get involved. No, we got to get involved now. We got to engage today. Like we should be thinking about what are we going to do to advance our people, and then what are we going to advance? How are we going to advance this community? That is a real question, and people should have a solid answer to that.
Yeah.
So by the time you leave the healing circle, we want you to know and identify what are you going to do. Right? That's the thing. I think that should be the underlying tone about that, right?
Yeah.
We working on healing, and we are going through different strategies of doing that. But then by the end of that day, we should have some clarity in what is our stake. We all stakeholders.
Absolutely.
I always tell the children on our block, like, listen, they be eating that candy and throwing it on the ground. I said, well, normally I would pick it up. I'm gonna pick it up. But y'all gotta roll in this too.
Yeah.
Y'all live in this neighborhood. So you want to make sure that you got a clean neighborhood. So it means that you have to get out here. If you see me picking up the trash in the area, you should make sure that this whole neighborhood.
That's right.
That's actually how we do it. If they saw us doing some things, if they saw us in the neighborhood, and they would take time to kind of teach us those things. That's why I miss so much of our elders, like Mother.
Oh, yeah.
And people that represented that was in a neighborhood that would teach us right. As children, you just learn and you grow up. But it's through people like that guide you to be your best self.
I agree.
So
we're also going to have other sponsors. We're going to have Dr. Kiara Dotson from WOW.
Come on now.
She's going to bring a tent and a table and have resources. Talking about the Unity March and stopping the violence in our community. We're also going to have donations of love. Going to be talking about suicide prevention and doing a little bit of Narcan training.
Come on now.
We're going to have Zeta Phi Beta giving out popsicles. We're going to have what I'm most excited about, well, I shouldn't say most, but we're going to have the yoga. It's called Black yoga instructors.
Okay.
So they all they got together and they formed a organization, and they're going to be there. They're going to be leading meditation and showing like ways to calm your nervous system and things like that, because you need to know how to calm your nervous system as you heal. So that's part of it.
Yes, right.
Reducing anxiety and things like that. So we're gonna have them. We're gonna have Serenity House. They're gonna have resources, and we're inviting anyone that have free resources, because things need to be free that day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we need to have things free that day. So we're going to be out in the community right here at MLK Park. And again, we're going to have a moment of prayer. We're going to have clergy. Dr. Alfredo Riley from Global Outreach Ministries going to open up with a prayer. We're going to have some songs. It's going to be like a big old-fashioned family church service outside.
That puts it. And that's what we're gonna be, and this is gonna be an joyful moment too. Right? We're talking about a good old fashioned church service outside. You know, what's better than that? Right? What's better than being around positivity, people who really care and love, offering all these different services? What's better than being with good people, right? During a month that we honor ancestors.
Yeah. Because we are good people.
We are. Naturally, we are. I think the world just, sometimes, the world and through systemic structures, right, creates people, I guess, to do things that normally they wouldn't do or not in their spirit to do, because, we are harmonious people.
That's right.
We bring that to this world.
Yeah.
And getting back centered. That's what I love about the healing circle. I love about the fact that, you center with oneness with everybody.
Yes.
Right? You enter into a deeper portal.
Yes.
And you have to unlock that. See, every day you should be looking at how are you operating at your higher self.
Yes.
Because we spiritual people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we should be performing like that. We don't have to operate in the flesh or be of this world because we are out of it.
That's correct. That's correct.
So when I be, I guess, getting around those type of, getting around that type of energy, it makes you feel good. It delivers you from whatever pain you was feeling at the time.
Absolutely.
And when you can really work on, I guess, addressing that hurt, that trauma, I'm glad you're talking about that, because we've been victimized for a long time.
Yeah.
And it is some deeper rooted issues, because not to our own doings, right? Because of how life has been, right? Historically in the past for the last 400 years. But we got to do something about that.
We do.
We have to really take time and address it.
We do. Otherwise,
we be cutting up, doing all these different things, and it's coming out in different ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So I encourage everybody, come out to the Healing Circle. That's Monday, June 9th.
June 10th.
June 10th, I'm sorry. Yeah. June 10th. Come out Monday, June 10th, between the hours of 5 and 8 at the Martin Luther King Peace Park, which is a beautiful park.
It is very beautiful.
That is a beautiful park.
Yeah, it is.
And, the thing is, you are in for a real treat, a real healing, a real blessing. And it's somewhere where, you can let loose and be yourself.
Absolutely.
Right. You can take all those professional hats off. Right?
You can take your shoes off if
You
you
take your
want
shoes off. Oh, you know what? Do you walk on the ground?
to. Absolutely.
I know you do. You know,
Absolutely.
that's actually
That you can't
it's
ground
good.
yourself.
Come on.
You gotta
Yeah.
connect to the earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, people. How many people do you know actually really practice doing it?
And you know what? So maybe because my roots are from Mississippi.
What?
Tupelo.
Tupelo?
Red,
Okay.
Tacopolia.
Yeah, you name it all.
Gulf Point.
Oh
Yeah.
You all in.
All
I'm a Mississippian too.
Okay.
My roots in. You know.
So, well, hey, I know we all related by some way. That's why we call each other brother and sister, because
That's right.
we all came in at one point.
Yes.
On that boat in
Come
Virginia.
On.
Virginia.
That's right.
You know?
That's true.
So when they came in Virginia,
yes,
hundreds of thousands of them,
yes,
they were all enslaved people, captured and brought into Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, all this East Coast, and then distributed.
Yeah.
Who did I hear this say? Mr. Roberts, probably. The first commodity to be sold on the stock market,
he did say that,
was African slaves.
And I was so hurt about that.
That's racial trauma. That's historical trauma. Those are the things that we still have to heal from.
That's right.
So those are things we have to bring to the circle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when he said that, that just went through me like, wow. So they gather people up like cattle. And if Mr. Charlie from this plantation ordered 100 of them, they packed up 100 of them and sent them there.
Inhumane. Only in America.
Only, right here. Because we would have been in Africa.
Man, we would have loved it in Africa too.
When you think about that, though, how they did it, it was all systemic. You know, grouping a bunch of people together, separating them. They don't know each other's language.
Yes.
Some were, sick or dying or elderly. The ones that survived and got over here, the only thing they could do I'm saying they had to starve the brothers to make them weak, because they knew they couldn't do nothing else if they had their full strength. You know what I'm saying? So they had to make them weak and break them down. All of this systemic racial trauma that we've had to endure as a people.
Yes.
These are things we got to bring to the circle.
That brings a sense of clarity. See, this is, you're talking about historical healing. It's something that I know we celebrate month of February. I know we celebrate Juneteenth in June. But when you look at the history of our time, just here in Americas, we have built this country. I always want us to really realize that. We much more than slaves.
Come on.
And we have to understand that our history didn't start in slavery.
That's correct.
Like the textbooks in school would tell you. But our history started as the original contributors to civilization. So you have to know there's something special about us. It's something that, that we have to go and acknowledge and be good with, right? Yeah, slavery took place in this country. Yeah, it took place for 400 plus years, right?
But if you go back before that,
that's
a whole different story. That's a different narrative. I feel good about that.
I feel good about that.
But when I cross over into what year? The 1600s, though.
Yes.
When I go to the 1600s, the narrative changes.
I'd be so upset about the 1600s. You're right.
But if I go back before that, I feel good.
And you know what? I do. But that's why I kind of find solace in this.
Okay.
I find that, I don't have to be labeled of what, the world or this country may put on. Like, but I'm proud of the heritage. We are the only group of people that can be able to endure that and strive.
So thinking about that, I'm just gonna throw this in a little bit all over the place, but it all ties into Juneteenth.
Good, yeah.
So when was the last slave informed that they were free?
When was it? When did it happen?
Yeah, when did that happen?
So that happened in 1865
Mm-hmm.
in Galveston, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
when the last slaves in that time, 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation signed in 1863. So I would be highly feeling a certain type of way. I already had to go through this stuff.
Yeah.
And then y'all got some more work out of it.
So then I started thinking about that. I said, okay, so they free now. So now what? So the plantation owner didn't know what to do because I'm losing all my workers. And then all my workers is like, I ain't got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So a lot of them, from what I understand, and Mr. White can correct me if I'm wrong, they either stayed and became sharecroppers, or they went into the army.
Mm-hmm. And then they made laws after the fact. So if you didn't have a job,
Here we go with the systemic stuff. Go ahead with the systemic stuff.
You didn't have a job after slavery, like you just broke it down. Slavery over, right? People have to relocate, right?
Where? Because you might not have no family up north.
You might not even have no money to even get up north.
But the resilient part of it, I heard this man say this. He said his grandfather, he worked. He said, all I need is a rifle, a horse, and some food.
I'm going to make my way.
And I'm getting out of here. So if you give a man a horse, a rifle, some food, they're going to make it do what it do.
Man, we've always known to do what it do, right?
So
you're right.
That takes me to the black cowboys, the rodeo. It takes me into all these other things.
All these other facts.
Yeah, they didn't want no black man that had no horse, but in Texas, you got plenty of horses.
Yeah, you're right.
You can ride on up out of there.
And isn't that a beautiful thing? I wonder what the feeling was, when, they were told that, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, if you just stop everything that you was doing, you said, I'm out of here, right? A feeling of once being enslaved. Mm-hmm. Now, freedom is for all. Mm-hmm. The type of feeling that comes over a person who felt like this was my life and I was going to die like this. Mm-hmm. I feel that when we understand epigenetics,
yes. Oh my goodness.
We understand the stress. Ooh. We got stress. We're talking about healing. This is so important. But we carry on stress from our great grandparents. We still feel that today.
That's correct.
And when we talk about this healing, I can't wait till the day happens. I want to garner up that type of spirit, and I want to garner up that type of feeling. And I want to take myself, this was so deep about, connection, to that time. Because every black man and woman should be, and child should be motivated.
Yes.
To do what's best. Like like you said, you got something as far as a vehicle, a horse, if you got a rifle, some protection, you can go get you some food.
Yeah. And you can also hunt for food.
Yeah, you can hunt for food.
Yeah. So yeah.
Nowadays, if a rifle can be mental, like you were talking about education, you get yourself educated to get yourself out of poverty. Mm-hmm. Those are the concepts, right? That's a deep information for people to take.
And people see what what I think people are lacking is taking and making that time to meditate, reflect, and take yourself back to those times like you just were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So go back into those times.
Yeah.
So that you can reset and become more motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the healing circle is for you.
Yeah.
And you know what? So I do every morning. I have my daily meditation.
Come on now.
It's for me, and it's
Come
my
on.
prayer, my meditation. And I choose Sunday as my day of worship. I choose a certain church as my place of worship. And when I'm at church, I didn't go to visit. I didn't be the best friends, you know, in the contest.
You know where the big head on.
I'm almost like zoned out. Like you be like, hey, you know, because I'm present.
Yeah.
I'm in the moment, and I'm right here.
That's what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because sometimes we be having the wrong reasons to go to church. It ain't because mama dragged you in there. I know as a child. That was
You get drug in. You get drug in.
You know, that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But once you know what I'm saying, you know, mature, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're able to really kind of take it and say, like, you know, this is something I need. This is for me. I'm here. I'm not here to wear the best hat. I'm not here to be the best dressed. I'm here to praise and give honor to the Most High.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I love how you said in the morning you do your daily, you know, ritual, right? When you pray, you meditate, right? Probably read a few things, and then you off on your day.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why you be having this guidance, you know, or about yourself, right?
Yeah.
You remind me of mother. That's the type of
you know what?
She was just like so soft spoken, but she carried so much power, right? But she was just so modest, soft spoken, very sweet, nice, addressed everybody, Mr. and Mrs. She was like that. And being around her,
she reminded me of my family. So
yeah.
when she told me she was from Vicksburg, Mississippi, I said, "Mother, you probably my auntie."
Probably is.
I said, "Man," because when I put her picture next to my grandfather's picture, they look so much alike.
That's right.
Very dark skin.
Yeah.
You know.
Beautiful skin.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I've always been like, I'm light, one of the lighter ones in my family. Everybody else is rich and dark. You know, that dark melanin skin.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But that's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
In this caste system, they make that out to be something negative.
That's right.
But don't they understand that's the melanin in you? That is what folks, and I sometimes I know I'm a little on the brown side, and I'd be upset. Dr. Glenn, I'd be upset. Sitting around my baby brother, he had the dark skin. I'd be so mad at, you know what I'm saying? On the inside, man, I want his skin, right? Real dark though, like, man, you know, I'm the blackest Browns brother you gonna know, right? You know what I'm saying? Don't let me tell you I'm black. I'm jet black, and you know what I'm saying? That is a beautiful thing, and that's just like, you know, a beautiful brother once said, wearing this skin is a badge of honor.
Amen. I agree.
You don't get these type of stripes. You don't get this type of energy. You don't get this type of substance. Where else?
You know what? I'm glad our skin is described in the Bible. I'm glad it is.
We all do it.
Yeah.
I don't
think I could be into this Bible if I wasn't in there.
But that Bible is about us.
It's all about us.
And we gotta know.
Even though they rewrote it a million times.
Come on now.
You know,
they remixed it for sure.
Yeah.
But that's us.
But we can see through the remix.
You can see through the remix. And I just see people understanding that. Like even when we look at this depiction of Jesus, and I know that they give us, you know, this white guy with the, you know, that's not the true image.
See, and I didn't have that. I didn't grow up with a white Jesus.
You didn't?
No.
And
that's probably, I seen it a lot up north though. My family from Mississippi.
Right there. Okay.
So I
Y'all
do.
had the black Jesus with the 12 disciples all black.
Yes.
Oh yeah, y'all know they knew what they was doing. They knew what y'all was doing.
Yeah, but then when in Michigan, growing up, so my mom kind of got away from the church life, and so in Michigan, I saw growing up pictures of John F. Kennedy, and I saw the white Jesus pictures here.
That was the whitewashing.
Yeah, so up north was very different. Like, and then my grandmother in Chicago was very different from the older people that I knew here.
Really?
Yeah.
What was she like?
My grandmother in Chicago, she was definitely down and real. And,
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Chi-town big hitter.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on now.
She was an Eastern Star.
Come on now. One of the old school grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad, he was with the Black Panthers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's what you did. That was her son?
So yeah, so she had to get him out of Chicago and took him to Cleveland.
You did better.
He got him out of there and took him to Cleveland.
Mama.
And that's how he met my mom. He met my mom in Cleveland.
Okay.
And then he had to get out of Cleveland.
Come on now, Bob.
My granddad was like, "What you gonna do?"
You're right.
So then they got married and moved to Germany.
Germany?
That's correct.
Well, you know there's a lot of black people in Germany.
Yeah.
You know.
So they lived on a military base for about 3 or 4 years. And then when my mom got ready to have me, she came back to the States. So I was born in Cleveland.
That's what's up. That's what's up. You almost was born in Germany.
That's correct.
We wouldn't have had an opportunity. Well, I'm glad that your parents met in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that they came back to Cleveland. And I'm glad that you got planted here.
Mm-hmm.
So when you was born, when you was little in Cleveland, y'all moved to Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go back.
So
My folks I was gonna tell you, my people are from Vicksburg, Lern, Edwards, Jackson.
Oh.
So they from all that down there. We go down there about 3 times a year to be able to go ahead help out. I think my grandparents are working now, so we come down to help out, work. My grandfather would be so happy. My grandma just turned 92, and yeah, what I mean, sweet lady. Yeah. She was a Choctaw Indian. So she definitely is just a beautiful spirit. And the thing about love about down south is because everybody looks after one another. Everybody knows who's in the town, right? It's just one big old neighborhood, right? Everybody shares resources, and I love that for them. I appreciate, and I guess that's where like some of the, the personality traits, come from, Southern. Right?
Yes.
So, and Mississippi is going through a number of different transitions right now.
Oh yeah, they are.
With a lot of that stuff taking place, they create an independent court, all white folks, killings, and do these different acts to some of these people, black people, hiding their bodies in jail. So Mississippi got a lot of activity going on. So our hopes and prayers are being sent out to Mississippi.
Amen.
So I think nevertheless, we got some real work to do as a collective, and that's when when we talk about Juneteenth, Kwanzaa, all those different things, elements that brings us together. It's a certain type of experience, certain ambience that's being created. Right, when we value each other, we love each other, we support one another. We putting on functions, right, that's gonna benefit, educate one another. That is the beautiful thing about when we're doing these Black-centered activities. In some form or way, we should look at how we carry that on.
I agree.
I think that's something that we should definitely start looking at and talking about. Maybe we do somewhat of like a healing circle, maybe monthly.
It sounds good.
Right? Yeah. We're working from the back end. We got a lot of ground to cover. So, but healing is every day.
every day. Yes.
You just motivated me to get back into my rituals, morning rituals.
Okay.
And that includes, like you said, meditation, praying, and identify a focus for today, and then working out physically. So working out your body, working out your mind through thought, meditation, and prayers. Of course, your spirituality, through connection with the Most High. And we had to operate on that spectrum.
Amen.
So that's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. So, where do you see from the inner circle from here on out? Where do you see the healing circle and taking it into the stratosphere?
I see the healing circle as a big piece of the puzzle that's going to help heal this community that has been systemically in so many ways that it has caused a great divide amongst us. There's a lot of anger and anxiety and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That I think the healing circle is going to teach people how to manage their emotions,
Yeah.
how to reduce their anxiety, how to listen to each other. And then I'm going to use one of Mother's affirmation. Teach us how to forgive, not just ourselves, but each other.
Mm.
And to have the God kind of love that will hide a multitude of faults so we can do the work.
Yeah.
Because it's about that work.
Mm-hmm.
When we come together collectively, when we start doing this work, we're going to see this whole community change, and then we're going to be leading this community.
You hear it. And I believe it wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
When they say in 2030, this country's going to look a lot different. 2040 is going to be heavily melanated.
Yeah.
So we should be thinking about what does that look like for us, and what are we going to do? What's our strategy?
And that's what we want to ask the people that's going to participate in the healing circle. What are we going to do? Because on so many fronts, if they can keep you from multiplying, if they can keep you like high and drunk and dancing and singing over here, you're not gonna care about this. You're not gonna
care about this.
No, you're not gonna even care.
And we got a magnitude of people that just singing and dancing and karaoke. But we need y'all to contribute.
Yeah. But if they can keep you, unsober, unbalanced, uncentered, if they can keep you going, if they can get one to do it, they figure they can get two to do it, then they can get a whole group to do it.
Right.
And if they can get that one, it's a lot of power in one.
A whole lot of power.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So we need people that participate in this circle to go back to their families and start working on their part of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So each one reach one.
Come on now, listen. We need everybody listening. We need you to grab 3, 4, 5 people out your family. Get a couple of your friends, your homegirls, your homeboys. Bring them down here to the healing circle. A lot of you folks that's in the club, it's gonna be there. He ain't going nowhere. Come on down to the healing circle, where you can go in and feel a certain and a different type of class, right? Get you some culture, because that's vital. We got some very, very special human beings, but we apply ourselves to some stuff. This stuff wouldn't be going on. This going on today. Wouldn't be happening. Right? Because you be centered. You have balance, right? And when I was in Egypt, I learned about the equilibrium. We talk about the Ma'at. The Ma'at was an African queen, but she held balance, right? So for But as much as you do as far as work, you do in the community, etc., right? You have to refill, replenish, right?
Right.
And that's your balance. That's how you be able to stand up strong. So if you putting 40 hours in a week, be sure you give 40 hours of rest.
Yeah.
Right? It's a balance. Because we need you out here. We need everybody out here. One thing for sure, everybody's gonna pass away one day. Like my brother Ricky says, it's the dash in the middle.
What you gonna do with
Let's
it?
go tip to tip.
Yeah, what you gonna do with that?
Yeah, you gonna waste time, get drunk, smoking weed all day, partying on Facebook, dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Or you gonna be like, all right, okay, you can have fun. I understand, folks like to enjoy themselves. I get it. Or you gonna get some real.
It's time for that too. That's balance. It's time for that too.
Message. Yeah, it's time for that.
Time for that too.
It's a time for
Yeah,
that.
it's a time for that too.
I don't knock none of that, but sometimes,
we just in crucial times.
We overdo some things, right? We need to be on the front line, and we need to be able to say, like, we got something in us. We got something that's some knowledge. We got some understanding. We got some self-love. And then you'll look at that stuff like, you may not be even interested in that most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's true.
Right? You know what I mean?
It's true.
So we asking everybody to come on down to the Historical Healing Circle, right? Led and facilitated by Dr. Quinn. She has a phenomenal layout of what's going to take place for that day. And then also brought in a number of different sponsors and giving out tacos too, right? You want to make sure you get fed too, right? The children, definitely bring them children out.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you can start them off early, then you put them in a better position later on in life. Like Frederick Douglass said, it's hard to repair a broken man.
Oh. You said something. Oh, wow.
Super hard, right?
Yeah.
You're so hard when you get older. But if we can really, address these young boys and girls, and we can get them on the D right now, they're not focusing on TikTok, they're not on their phone for technology all day, but they locked in with the universe. That's gonna change the game for them.
Absolutely.
TikTok sells America this TikTok version we see over here. Remember video. Some stuff is very, informative. I give it that too. My daughter be putting me up on TikTok. It shows me all these different things. So you can learn a lot.
Yeah, you can.
But the TikTok over there in China, nothing like what's over here in the U.S.
Oh, I believe it.
There's videos of dance and all that stuff, that's shut down. You only get an hour of that.
Well, I amazed some students.
Yeah.
I told them I know 3 phone numbers, but when I was a kid, I knew about 12 or 13 phone numbers by heart.
Run them off to you.
And they can't.
Addresses.
They said we never had to do it. I said, see, that's my point. The phone is dumbing you down because you could just Google it. You don't have to think for yourself.
Yeah. That's the thing that they want our children to be engaged in. Like, if they're not learning how to write cursive, if they not understanding or knowing history about, slavery and things of that nature, because they're trying to write that out the books, because they don't want their children to feel the same type of way. If our children spend more time not on their phone, but we need to put them back into the books. That's something that's a parent's responsibility. It goes back to carving out that time to be able to spend time, quality time, put together.
So that'll be a whole nother show. Because I don't want to lose all the women that's going to be coming to the healing circle. Because we have a role, we have an assignment, and a lot of career women they won't like it. They won't like what I
shout out to all our career women.
Oh, absolutely.
That's working,
but
taking care of the babies, right? Holding down the house. If
you have a child, you also have a responsibility to make sure that their foundation is solid and rooted. So it might entail you to stay home for the first 5 years. Right.
I know that would be difficult for some.
It would be, but it's the sacrifice you have to make.
It's just sacrifice.
So
that's how you're supposed to do it. Your man is supposed to step up. You let that woman be with that child for the first 5 years.
For the first 5 years.
Take care of everything. Make sure she all good. They don't want for nothing.
Yeah.
So she able to be comfortable.
And then to be realistic, if you're growing a family, you may not be able to wear the red bottoms. Might not be able to do it. Might not be able to do it. You might not be able to get those Jordans though. You might
Baby
not.
gotta eat. Baby eat hopscotch.
But I can teach you how to cook a meal off $5.
Come on, you gotta cook a meal off $5.
I do.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I got to come to your class.
I'm just telling you though, that first 5 years
Yes.
is not only for building your family, but it's for making sure that there's a solid foundation. And there's a scripture that says a wise woman build her house, but a foolish woman pluck it down with her own hands. So that's another show. I don't want to lose my women for this healing circle.
No, I think you inspired some people. But staying on task, you're right. We're gonna definitely have a show.
Okay.
Let's come back. But let's be sure. Monday, June 10th, between 5 and 8 at the Martin Luther King Peace Park, right there on McClellan and Martin Luther King Street.
Yep, across from Hinky Dinky.
Across the street from Hinky Dinky. Come on down for the healing circle. Come on, be amazed. Like, listen, we calling everybody out. Let's definitely get together, right? I'm telling you, it's gonna work wonders on you. It's gonna do things that you may not even thought that you would come for, right? A lot of times, like, you be in for a blessing, but you have to go get it, right?
Ooh.
You have to check in.
All
So
right.
that's what we want you to do. So all our working mothers, right? You know, big shout out to you. We appreciate you. You know, there's no spite to know.
That's why we're gonna have those street tacos. They can just grab the kids and come on.
Bring your children down because those, you know, she has tacos, we got freeze pops. We have a good time. They're gonna be occupied, right? But we're gonna put the phones down, right?
Yeah.
I want to deter the children. But we just gonna be in sync with one another. So we looking forward to it.
All right.
So any last, messages you want to give the audience?
No, I'm just looking forward to seeing everyone, especially if you have experienced it in the past. You know the spirit of it. Come on down and offer your support. Bring your prayers. Bring your problems. Bring everything. Just come on down.
You heard it first. Now, we're going to definitely expect to go ahead and have a phenomenal Juneteenth. We greatly appreciate it. Let me definitely congratulate you for continuing to hold it down. You're a phenomenal stakeholder in the community. We're greatly grateful to have you, right?
I'm grateful to do the work.
And that's what I mean, right? We're going to continue to keep, lifting so you can continue to do the work. So definitely, we appreciate everybody for tapping in, Fli-City Blackout. The 52nd traditional Juneteenth celebration is in honor of Mrs. Dr. E. Hill Deloney, right? She was big on names, right? It wasn't about the title, it was about the name.
No, that's another show too.
We greatly appreciate y'all for tapping in. So make sure y'all do tap in for the Healing Circle Monday, June 10th at 5 p.m. at the MLK Peace Park. We greatly appreciate. Special thanks to our guest today, Dr. Quinn. And we'll have you back for some more segments and conversations because she got a whole lot in it. So shout out to Mississippi. Right? One time for the SIP, 2 times for Flick. Right? Peace and blessings.